Hey, what's going on, everyone? Appreciate y'all coming here and checking out this Fallout 76 build guide video. In this one, I'm going to be sharing with y'all an updated version of my Bloodied Commando in-game build. Actually, I managed to update this thanks to your guys' recommendations in the comments of my previous build that I shared with y'all. Definitely appreciate it, guys. You guys have helped perfect this build, in my opinion. So yeah, let's get into this. If you find this enjoyable, by the way, consider leaving a like on the video. The support is greatly appreciated. I'm genuinely just sharing this build to help you guys out. This is something that has helped me out tremendously in the game, so figured I would share this build with you all. First off, let me just go ahead and show you all some gameplay of the build in action. I'm not using any like aid items right now to boost my damage even more. I could be doing that if I wanted to, but I am hitting some pretty high numbers here just roaming around. I got a pretty good weapon as well, but shoot, any bloodied weapon this build will work well with if you just follow the perk cards that I have. This will get your damage looking nice if you're rocking a bloodied build. Honestly, this build kind of works better with quad weapons. You don't have to technically be working with a bloodied weapon with this build to dish out a lot of damage. I actually prefer using a weapon that has the quad effect over the bloodied effect with the weapon. Specifically, the fixer is what I'm going to be using in this video. But this build will work great with any automatic weapon. Like, this will work well with a railway rifle, a fixer, a handmade rifle. You get it. As long as you make sure to modify those weapons to be automatic. Also, make sure the weapon has a bloodied effect on it or a quad effect on it, which bloodied makes it so you do more damage to lower your health, and quadruples your ammo capacity. But you can only have one of each of these legendary effects, so keep that in mind. It's either bloodied or quad. Can't have both on the same weapon. This bloody build that I'm about to be sharing with you has been a long time in the making. I have been tweaking it over time and just going with what people have been recommending me to switch up. This build is working really well for me now. Figured I'd share it. Alright, so first off, let's go ahead and get into the stats. This is what I recommend to set up your special build. Keep in mind that legendary perk cards are also going to help the special. So if something looks a little lower than usual, the legendary perk cards that we will get will help them. So here's what I got though. We got 3 into strength, 15 in perception, 5 into endurance, 7 into charisma, 1 into intelligence, 10 into agility, and 15 into luck. Here's what it'll look like once you got the legendary perk cards as well for this endgame build, which we'll get into those further in this video. As you can see, we now have 8 into strength, 15 perception, 8 endurance, 9 charisma, 4 intelligence, 15 agility, and 15 into luck. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into now the perk cards. Starting off here with the strength category. I'm using 3 in Barbarian to give me more defense, Blocker to help with my defense. This makes it so we take 45% less damage from our opponent's melee attacks, and Barbarian gives us more damage resistance if we're not using power armor. I also got Arms Keeper as well. My rifles weigh 50% less. This is just something extra I decided to throw on. I actually got rid of the Traveling Pharmacy perk card. The reason why is because of a chemist backpack that I am using. This is also a part of the build. I recommend to add this modification onto your backpack. As you can see, it takes off 90% chem weight. That's freaking amazing. Called the Chemist's backpack modification. You can purchase this from Mortimer for 350 gold bullion if you have at least friendly raider reputation. Mortimer is located over here at the crater. You just got to have a high enough raider reputation. Anyways, carrying on here. In my perception, I got 15, of course. I got the commando perk cards all at 3, so that gives me 60% extra damage if I'm using automatic rifles. It's important that you use the commando perk card, not the rifleman. Also, I got 2 into ground pounder. My rifles reload 20% faster, and I have better hip fire accuracy. Also got tank killer at 3. This makes it so my rifles and pistols ignore 36% armor and have a 9% chance to stagger. And lastly, I got 1 into concentrated fire, so I could focus on limb shots of some kind, you know, for headshots or specific weak points that do nice critical damage. So yeah, that's a important one to have at least 1 in. That's what I'm rocking in my perception category. Anyways, carrying on here, I got 8 in endurance, and I'm using Chem Fiend. The chems I used last 100% longer, so 8 items that help boost my damage, they'll last longer with this on. Also got Fireproof. This makes it so I take 45% less damage from explosions and flame attacks, such as, for one example, Scorch Beast attacks. This helps with them. Also, I got 2 into Revenant. This makes it so I gain a plus 50% damage bonus for 2 minutes when a player revives me. And as you know, sometimes you do have higher chance to go down if you're rocking a bloody build because your health's lower. So, yeah, just threw this one on just in case. I could be doing 50% extra damage. That's like 3 of the commando perk cards maxed out, basically. You're just doing 10% less damage with the 50% instead of 60. Anyways, carrying on here to Charisma, I got 9 in it, and I got 1 into Strange in Numbers, 3 in the Suppressor, which, by the way, Strange in Numbers makes it so your positive mutation effects are 25% stronger. Teammates are mutated too, which most players are mutated. I also got 3 into Suppressor, reduce your target's damage output by 30% for 2 seconds after you attack. Also got Tenderizer. My target now receives 10% more damage for 10 seconds after I attack. And I got Bodyguards on. This is just something extra that I threw on because I had extra charisma points left over thanks to the legendary charisma perk card, which I'll be getting into my legendary perk cards a little further in this video. But still, nonetheless, this will help you have more damage resistance, which helps with you being a bit more of a tank. You're going to need as much damage resistance as you can get being a bloody build. And also keep in mind, eventually we'll be able to max out this Bodyguards perk card because I still have 2 more level ups I can do with my legendary charisma perk card. As you can see, it's only at 2, which on that note, when I do eventually complete this build and have it completely maxed out, I could have a maxed out Bodyguards perk card on, or I could throw on Inspirational. That's another good one that I'd recommend to have on. When you're on a team, you gain more experience. Or on the other hand, if you're playing alone, you could rock this build alone too and throw on Lone Wanderer. This perk card makes it so when adventuring alone, you take 10% less damage and gain 10% action point regeneration. This build could also work by yourself too. You don't have to technically have a team to make this build be actually useful, so keep that in mind. I'm actually going to keep Lone Wanderer on for the moment because I'm going to be playing alone for a little while. Anyways, moving on here to Intelligence, I got 4 in it and 3 for Nerd Rage, so this will make it so when I am bloodied, I'll gain 40 damage resistance, gain 20% damage, and I'll gain 15% action point regeneration. And what I mean by when I'm bloodied, I mean when I have low health, specifically lower than 20% health, because that's when the Nerd Rage procs. So that's nice. Also, I have an extra intelligence point thanks to my legendary intelligence perk card. So I threw on Gunsmith. This makes it so my guns break slower. But something else I suggest to throw on before you go to scrap down weapons and armor, I suggest to throw on the Scrapper perk card. That way you get more components when breaking down things. But yeah, as you can see, my legendary intelligence is at 3. So eventually I'll have 1 more point in intelligence once I fully complete this build. I might just level up Gunsmith honestly to rank 2 so my guns break even more slower. Keep in mind, this is just an extra perk card though. The main thing I wanted out of intelligence is the Nerd Rage. Anyways, carrying on here. In agility I got 15, of course. I got 3 in covert operative. My range attacks do an additional 50% sneak attack damage. Also got evasive. Each agility point adds plus 3 resistance to damage and energy. So that helps with making me a bit more tankier. I also got escape artist. Sneak to lose enemies, and running no longer affects stealth, so that's handy. Also got 3 into Gun Fu. VAT swaps targets on kills with a plus 10%, 30%, then 60% damage to your next 3 targets. And after you take out someone in your VAT, you automatically swap to another one. So yeah, you're doing some major extra damage there if you manage to take out 3. This is something very beneficial to use with this build, Gun Fu. Anyways, I also got Adrenaline, gain plus 10%, and I can gain up to max 60% damage for 30 seconds per kill. Duration refreshes with kills. So yeah. Anyways, in luck, I got it at 15. I got Bloody Mess at 3. This gives me 15% bonus damage, means enemies may explode though into a gory red paste. Also, I got better criticals. VATS criticals now do plus 100% damage. Serendipity, this makes it so while below 30% health, I'll gain a 45% chance to avoid damage with no power armor. This perk card is a must-have with low health builds. Also got Class Freak. The negative effects of your mutations are reduced by 50%, so that's handy with like Grounded or something if you're using that mutation. I'll get into my mutations here in a bit. I also got Starch Genes, so I'll keep my mutations. As you can see, this makes it so you will never mutate from rads, and Radaway will never cure your mutations, so you'll be able to keep your mutations. Also, lastly, I got Mysterious Saver. Mysterious Saver will more frequently appear to revive you when downed. Got this at 2. And this actually is pretty handy to use combined with Revenant, because when the Mysterious Savior revives you, you don't have to rely on another player. This will still proc the Revenant to gain a plus 50% damage. It's freaking amazing little combination there. Anyways, now since you've seen the perk cards, now let's go ahead and get into the legendary perk cards. Here's what I'm rocking. Follow through. Range sneak damage increases damage to target by 40% for 10 seconds. Got this maxed. Also got a legendary endurance perk card. This will make it so I'll have +3 endurance extra perk points and +3 to my endurance stats. So technically my endurance would actually be at 5 without this on. It's actually really handy. Also got +5 to strength to gain me more strength. Also got +2 to charisma, +5 to agility, and +3 to intelligence. Those are the legendary perk cards that I'm rocking. Pretty straightforward and simple to follow along there with. Sometimes I do swap them out, like I unequip them. I could just put that right back on if I want later. But yeah, unequip this intelligence perk card, and then I put on like ammo factory if I want to make more ammo. But right now I'm not making more ammo, so I can just throw back on my legendary intelligence perk card, and it'll still be at level 3. So yeah, pretty handy to know. But since I just took that legendary perk card off, my perk card's just left, because technically my intelligence is only at 1, but with it being a level 3 legendary intelligence perk card, I have it at 4. So yeah. Anyways, now moving on to the mutations. Here's what I'm rocking for my mutations. I got Adrenal Reaction. This is great with bloody builds, because when you're at low hit points, you'll gain more weapon damage, but it'll lower your max HP by 25. So that's not bad. Anyways, carrying on here, I got Eagle Eyes. This will gain me +4 perception, but it'll lower my strength by 2, but it'll give me +50% extra critical damage, most importantly. I also got Egghead on. This will give me more intelligence by 6, but it'll lower my endurance and strength. The reason why I use Egghead is because I'll get more experience over time to level up. Keep in mind, these mutations would be different if I wasn't using Clash Freak. I'll go ahead and take Clash Freak off, just give you all more straightforward of what they do. Egghead will actually lower us by 3 endurance and 3 strength if you don't have Clash Freak on. And it'll lower us by 4 strength with Eagle Eyes, and it'll remove 50 of our max HP. But yeah, that's why Clash Freak's handy to have. Anyways, next up here I got Grounded. This will lower our energy gun damage by 50%, but we'll gain a 100 energy resistance. And I don't use energy guns with this build, so that really doesn't matter that it lowers by -50%, because I don't use energy guns with the build. Anyways, Marsupial, this will make it so we jump higher, and our carry weight will be increased by 20, but it'll lower our intelligence by 4. Honestly though, I love that jump height, so I have to have this on. I love the jump height. But if you don't really care for the jump height, don't put it on. But it's like you have a little jetpack without having a jetpack, without power armor and stuff, or Secret Service armor. Anyways, carrying on here, I also got Scaly Skin. This will make it so we have damage resistance by +50 and energy resistance by +50, but it'll lower our action point. This just makes us a bit more tankier. This is a preference to me though. Some people may not agree with Scaly Skin because it does lower the action point, but we have high enough stats where we could sacrifice a little bit of action point, because our action point is already freaking amazing with what we're rocking with the Unyielding armor, which I'll get into the armor here in a bit. But anyways, carrying on here, I also lastly have Speed Demon. This will increase our move speed by 20, and it'll also increase, however, our hunger and thirst by 50% while moving, but also it'll increase our reload speed as well. So it's definitely a handy one to have, just for that reload speed, honestly. Here's what my mutations are looking like with Clash Freak on. Clash Freak definitely helps with making our mutations slightly better. See? We're not getting hit as much. With Marsupial, I only lose 2 intelligence. With Scaly Skin, I only lose 25 action points. You get it. And one thing that could make my mutations better is if I had like an herbivore mutation or a carnivore mutation, because, you know, that would help double up some effects. But I like using meat and vegetables, so I don't have that mutation. If you have like an herbivore mutation, meat does nothing. So yeah, it's good to keep that in mind. That's the reason why I don't have those in this. Also, another pointer, my mutations could be even better if I'm on a team with other people that are mutated. If you guys remember, I had that Strange in Numbers perk card here. Positive mutation effects are plus 25% stronger if teammates are mutated too. So let me go ahead and just join a team real quick and show you the difference here. Okay, just join a team. Now let's go to my mutations here. As you can see, my critical damage with Eagle Eyes is at 75%. I'm I'll be dishing out also more damage with my adrenal reaction. My energy resistance is a bit better on scaly skin, and so is the damage resistance. I'm a bit tankier. Same with grounded, bit tankier with my energy resistance. You get it, you see it. My intelligence also for Egghead is at +8 now. Yeah, so when you're on a team, you're going to be even a little bit more stronger with those mutations, which I'm not going to be explaining how to get mutations. It's pretty straightforward. You just get mutated, or you could buy serums to get specific mutations. Just keep in mind, when you get specific mutations that you're on the lookout for, have starch genes on. You can only get mutated when you don't have this on, and you can get mutated just by drinking dirty water or something. Or, once again, you can hunt down the serums. I'm not going to be explaining how to get the mutation serums in this video. Anyway, so yeah, that's the mutations. Now let's get into the armor. Here's what the armor we're rocking. Honestly, you just want any kind of unyielding. That's what I'm using for an example. I don't have Secret Service unyielding armor. I don't have a full set of Secret Service unyielding armor with this build. You know, you don't need that, honestly. You really don't. Just get that unyielding effect. Yeah, sure, the Secret Service, you'll have more damage resistance, and you'll have a jetpack if you do have a full set of unyielding Secret Service, but that can take more of a grind. Honestly, just collect any unyielding pieces. I also deep-pocketed them, too, with the modifications. I also like looking for pieces that have +5 action point regeneration, just because that just helps more with the commando build. Having that extra action point regeneration is amazing. In case you don't know what Unyielding does, this makes it so you gain up to +3 to all your special stats except endurance when health is low. So yeah, the lower your health, the better. I have things in my inventory that'll help lower my health with radiation. So my Nerd Rage will pop, and so I can get the Unyielding effects. So yeah, as you can see, look at my special stats. 23 strength, 36 perception, 15 endurance, 24 charisma, 24 intelligence, 30 agility, and 30 luck. I'm pretty sure I ate a pemmican earlier as well. Let me see real quick. Yeah, so that's giving me +3 to my endurance. But keep that in mind though. That's the stats I'm rocking. Pretty solid. I'm not going to go over what all those special stats do. You can just hover over them and it'll tell you what they do. Like agility here is the measure of your overall finesse and reflexes. It affects the number of action points in VATS and your ability to sneak, and it's +30. That's solid. We use a lot of action points with this build for stealth. Give us that extra damage. Anyways, lastly here, the weapon that I'm using is the Fixer. I love Fixers, and here's the Fixer that I'm rocking. Bloodied on it, so my damage increases up to 95% as health decreases. I'm currently at +90% extra damage. Also got 25% weapon speed, so it shoots a bit faster and stuff. It also has -25% action point cost, and the other 3 effects that it has automatically comes with it, since it's a Fixer. +20% armor penetration, +100% sneaking speed, and +15% stealth and shadows. So great for a stealth build. And this is a sneak VATS Bloodied commando build. Most importantly in-game, because that's a lot of the legendary perk cards, perk coins and stuff. So yeah, this is an in-game build. And also keep in mind, weapons that have the Bloodied effect isn't the only way to go about using this Bloodied build. Yeah, it's a bloody build, but it can still be extremely beneficial using a quad of some kind. As you can see, here is a quad Fixer that I'm using. You want to make sure the quad you are using is automatic, of course, such as like a handmade or this Fixer or something. But yeah, using a quad is also really beneficial, and you get that Gun Fu to proc really well. As you can see, Gun Fu makes it so, you know, each target that you kill, you gain up to +10%, 30%, and then 60%, and your VATS automatically lock on to your targets. So this helps you gain more damage, 60% more damage. Also, you got the adrenaline as well. You can gain up to 60% extra damage for each kill that you get, and each kill is worth 10% extra damage. So yeah, having a weapon that can fire out a lot can help you dish out some more damage. You don't have to technically just go with the Bloodied. As you see, with the quad, I have 85 shots in my mag with the Fixer, and with the Bloodied Fixer, I have 25 shots. As you can see, I'll go ahead and switch to it. Yeah, so keep that in mind when using this build. Bloodied weapons aren't the only way to go about using a Bloodied build. The Unyielding armor is what makes a Bloodied build, as well as the specific perk cards, not just the weapon. Like, be sure you get the Nerd Rage to proc, even if you're using a quad automatic weapon, like when I'm using this quad Fixer, because that Nerd Rage can still help dish out some serious damage. And the Unyielding is still helping us as well, even though we're not using a bloodied weapon. Hopefully this helps you all out in some kind of way. This is an updated version of my old bloodied commando build. This is a better version, personally to me. Switching up a few perk cards and legendary perk cards and adding a few things like the chemist backpack mod helped make this build so much better. I really do appreciate all your guys' feedback to help perfect this bloodied in-game commando build, and I'm now sharing it with you all. So feel free to use it, guys. Seriously, you're gonna love it. At least I do. I've been rocking this build now for a while, and it's done me some serious justice. But yeah, I'm out of here, everyone. As always, most importantly, appreciate y'all taking the time, watching and listening. Hopefully this helps you all out. Until next time, peace.